Good evening, everyone. Mike Palmer from Know Your Rights Group and Success Coaching International with another important video update tonight. So it seems as though one of the major themes of most of my videos this year so far has been how the government can simply raise more revenue through more fines. And just when you thought that they couldn't possibly come up with anything else over and above all of the insane fines that they're already dishing out, okay, again, over completely pointless things that have little to nothing to do with actual road safety, they've now come up with the idea, at least here in Victoria, of electronic infringements that they can actually just issue through their phone. What could possibly go wrong? Now, there's a number of mainstream media articles doing the rounds about this, but I actually saw one posted on Facebook that I think was written a lot more realistically, and that's the one I'm going to share with you tonight. It's just so that you get the message. So there's no actual title to this. It was just a post on Facebook, but if you look up new ePINs or electronic infringements, you'll find all the relevant stories. But this is what this one says. Victoria Police is rolling out yet another bit of high-tech gear. This time it's a system that lets officers dish out fines through their mobile devices. They're calling it ePINs, short for electronic penalty infringement notices. And they reckon it's all about convenience and efficiency. But let's be real. When has giving the cops more streamlined ways to fine you ever actually felt like a win for the public? The State Highway Patrol were the first cab off the rank starting back in February, and surprise, surprise, in less than 2 months, they've already spat out over 5,000 of these things. That's 5,143 new little digital gotchas from February 11th to April 7th. That's a hell of a warm-up. The app, which runs on police-issued devices, is supposedly designed to make things simpler. It's packed with info like penalty codes, amounts, demerit points, and due dates. Handy if you're in the business of dishing out fines like Tic Tacs. And if you're lucky enough to cop one, all you have to do is hand over your phone number or email and they can just ping it to you. Easy, right? And even if you're not keen on giving that out, after all, who is, then they'll just post it old school. For now, anyway. Authorities are selling it as a win for community safety. Fewer paper forms, more time for real policing. But when the system's designed to get more fines out faster, you got to ask, who's really benefiting here? Victoria Police dishes out around 350,000 paper fines every year. Now, with this digital approach, that number might not just stay the same, it could blow out even more. Faster fines, fewer excuses, more revenue. And let's not ignore the elephant in the squad car. Most people already see fines as little more than a shameless revenue-raising tactic by a broke state government that can't balance a budget to save its life. Add high tech to the mix, and suddenly the cash cows got turbo boost. They plan to roll this out statewide by June this year. So by then, no matter where you are in Victoria, odds are if you blink the wrong way at a copper, the ePIN app will be warmed up and ready to ping you. Deputy Commissioner Wendy Steendam trotted out the usual PR spin talking about simplifying the process and freeing up time for police to keep us safe. But let's not kid ourselves. This isn't about lightening anyone's load except the fine collectors. The question is, when the tech's all working in their favour, who's keeping them honest? And that, of course, is a brilliant question. So they say this is going to be rolled out statewide by June, which really isn't all that far away. Those of you who are watching this from New South Wales, I mean, this is nothing new. New South Wales Police have been using a similar system for about 5 years now, and Queensland Police have also been using a similar system for quite some time. The issue is that we all know how absolutely gung-ho the Victoria Police are in particular. We're also well aware of the extra low tolerances for anything fine related in Victoria, and as well how many more fines are issued per capita in Victoria than any other state. So please, if you're in Victoria or you're going to be travelling to Victoria, then watch out. They are after your money. Now, of course, no matter how a fine is actually issued, whether it be by a camera, by one of these new ePIN systems, or whether it's, the good old-fashioned way via the mail, you can still definitely challenge all unjust and unlawful fines by just using that tried, tested, and proven three-step process in Chapter 3 of that Aussie Speeding Fines book. Again, these guys have been around for 18 years now, so you absolutely know their information works. And again, we're going to read out yet another testimonial from one of their members later on tonight's video. So, as always, there's a link to that book in the description. Other important thing to keep in mind, we are just about to head into back-to-back long weekends in just a few weeks. So Easter is not this weekend, but the weekend coming. And then the ANZAC Day long weekend is the weekend after that. So the revenue-raising goons are going to be well and truly out in force during that period. Mark my words. So please make sure you grab a copy of that Aussie Speeding Fines book before you get a fine, because that will give you all the information plus all the step-by-step strategies. You just cut and paste your details into the letters to challenge any fine that you may receive over that lovely revenue-raising period. Now, speaking of fines, if you are in Queensland, you're just about to be hit with even higher fines as the government there tries to raise even more revenue. So there's the article. I've just contained it to the main points for those who want to follow up. Australian state set to increase driving fines within months. The monetary value of driving fines in Queensland is about to increase, with the new financial year bringing rises of 3.5% across the board. As reported by ABC News, on 1st July 2025, the Queensland Government will increase fines to motorists by 3.5%, the default rate in the state. This will result in the value of one penalty unit rising to approximately $166.95 from July 1st, up from the current rate of $161.30. Low-level speeding, where motorists are found to exceed the speed limit by less than 11 kilometres an hour, will now attract a $333 fine, up $11, while failing to wear a seatbelt or using a mobile phone while driving will result in a $1,252 fine, up $42. ABC News report the expected revenue. There it is, people. The expected revenue from fines in Queensland is expected to rise to $912 million in the 2025-26 financial year. That's almost $1 billion from just one state. This is out of control. Well up on the $794 million projected in the current 12-month period. Expected to rise. Okay, there is the problem. Okay, it's right there in black and white. They are expecting an additional $100 million to be raised from fines in the coming year. Now, as I've said more times than I can possibly count on these videos and our live events, okay, if these fines really cause motorists to slow down, as the government keeps claiming they do, then they would surely be budgeting less and less every year, not more. The fact that they actually rely on fine revenue as part of their state budget, okay, shows clearly that they exist purely just to raise revenue and have little to nothing to do with road safety, as we've seen with the road toll in pretty much every state over the past 12 months. Now, interestingly, the South Australian government are about to roll out new AI cameras, which they claim are going to improve road safety and actually cut traffic times. So if you're in Adelaide or going to be anywhere near Adelaide, have a look at this article. This is what it says. Adelaide roads to get artificial intelligent cameras to improve traffic. Artificial intelligent cameras will be put on some of Adelaide's busiest roads in an Australian first trial. The new technology aims to not only improve safety, but also cut travel times for motorists. Now keep that in mind, we're going to come back to that. The state government is rolling out 4 smart cameras at some of the city's busiest thoroughfares. Transport Minister Tom Koutsantonis called it a powerful piece of equipment to improve our traffic network. The $350,000 government trial uses AI cameras to detect congestion so the Traffic Management Centre can adjust signals to improve traffic flow. The new technology is set to improve travel time dramatically. If the trial proves successful, the government will install more cameras around the city's busy road network. So, that's what the article says. But let's look at what it doesn't say. Here's the thing. Like most of these things, it all sounds good in theory. And of course, anything that genuinely does reduce congestion would obviously be very, very welcome by motorists. But the bit that concerns me is this claim about improving road safety. Because that, to me at least, sounds like these cameras will ultimately be used to either issue and or enforce more traffic fines, because they simply don't explain anywhere else in that article how these cameras are supposed to achieve an improvement in road safety. Then, of course, there's the obvious question when I ask, all these times these things come up, is why would they invest money into infrastructure if they weren't getting a return on it? They never, ever do that. So please watch this space and we'll just have to wait and see what these cameras are ultimately used for. But I certainly have some concerns. Okay, speaking of cars, there was actually a major story that came out recently about Volvo recalling over 70,000 plug-in EVs due to fire risks. Now, if you haven't seen this, it's definitely worth a read. So it says Volvo recalls nearly 73,000 plug-in hybrids due to fire risk. Volvo cars are recalling nearly 73,000 plug-in hybrids worldwide due to a potential high-voltage battery issue that could lead to a short circuit, increasing the risk of fire. Essentially, this recall covers almost all plug-in hybrid models built on Volvo's first-generation SPA platform. Globally, around 73,000 Volvo PHEVs are affected, including 7,483 in the US, about 8,000 in Sweden, and 4,825 in Germany. The issue stems from the high-voltage LG batteries. In SPA platform, the batteries are located in the transmission tunnel running through the center of the vehicle. Under certain conditions, these battery cells may experience an internal short circuit, potentially leading to thermal runaway, a fancy way of saying a fire risk. Volvo has confirmed that 2 thermal events related to this issue, thankfully without any reported injuries, crashes or fatalities. The incident occurred on February 6, prompting an investigation that concluded with this recall. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration in the US is advising owners to stop charging their vehicles until the remedy is complete. So you'd be more than a little upset if you bought one of these Volvo plug-in hybrid cars and you're basically being instructed, don't charge them, don't use them, until this is all resolved. Now, the concern for me is here we have this company, Volvo, which is, most often associated with safety by most people, recalling EVs due to a fire risk. I mean, I really do think that tells you everything that you need to know about the state of EVs right now. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to improve in the future, but right now, this is a very real concern. Now, if you needed any more reasons to stay away from EVs, then I urge you to please take the time to look into the Channel 7 investigation regarding the true cost of producing EVs, in particular their batteries, which of course is something that we've spoken about many, many times before. Now, there's a couple of articles that I want to go through. And the first article actually goes into a lot of detail about the true emissions that are actually generated when mining nickel, which is what, of course, is needed to create the batteries for these electric vehicles. Now, the article itself is really quite long, so I've just selected some key points to share with you. So this is the article, and if you or anyone you know either has or is considering getting an EV, please make sure you read this first and foremost. So this one is entitled The Great EV Con, The Deception of Driving Our Green Future. I'm sure most EV buyers are good citizens who are generally trying to do their bit for their immediate environment and exercising their power of one to make a difference. But there are certainly those who transport their sanctimonious smugness to the nearest cafe strip every weekend to share their lattes with like-minded types who think their silent chariots are doing more for conservation than a David Attenborough documentary. This wake-up call is for them. Having returned from witnessing what must rank as one of the world's worst industrial landscapes, all in the name of the green EV revolution, I can safely say that anyone who genuinely cares for the future of the planet would be horrified by the damage that is being done by our northern neighbour Indonesia with the financial backing of China. It goes on. As the lifeblood for many rechargeable batteries, nickel is the key component for most EVs, and China knows that if they can guarantee cheap nickel, it means a cheap battery and a huge competitive advantage for all its EV makers. The result, though, is what the mining industry is calling dirty nickel, and from what we witnessed, you couldn't get much dirtier. This is a product made without having to abide by any environmental laws, no health or safety standards for workers, and no apparent limit to the clearing of native forest or vegetation. The emissions were so bad it would give Adam Bant an aneurysm. But again, there are no limits to pumping out this dirty nickel that ends up under the bonnet of a green machine. In fact, it's something of a sick joke to link any notion of environmental protection in any product to this industrial monolith. But then it goes on. Indigenous populations have been displaced and the livelihoods of many have been ruined. Meantime, in the comfort of Aussie suburbia, this is apparently the price you pay for the princely virtue of driving an EV. It doesn't make a lot of sense. We've lost 7,000 jobs in our nickel mining industry here in Australia, and billions in revenue, while Indonesia and China share a dirty little secret about their dirty nickel dominance. And all the while, Energy Minister Bowen is using tens of millions in taxpayer subsidies to help the Chinese EV makers to sell their products with their shiny cheap batteries. No wonder the ministers want to keep it quiet, especially during an election campaign. So that, of course, is the one thing that we want to make sure does not happen. We do not want to keep this quiet. We want to share this around as far and as wide as possible. So please, if you are genuinely interested in finding out the truth, okay, about how dirty these supposedly environmentally friendly vehicles really are, then I urge you, please make sure you read that whole article, and then, as always, please do share it around far and wide so that everybody can learn the truth as well. Now, there's actually a follow-up article to that one, which actually details the story of a young man who actually died as a result of working in one of these very nickel production plants. Now, again, it's a very lengthy, very detailed article, so I've just highlighted a couple of key points to share with you. So this is the article here. It says, the EV Con, Spotlight Investigation into the Deadly Side of Electric Vehicles Sold in Australia. At the age of 18, Rifki, a boy from a poor rural farming family on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi, had never flown on a plane, yet he had sky-high ambitions of becoming a commercial pilot. The cost of a pilot's course was well beyond his family's financial means, so Rifki packed his bags and set off to Morowali Industrial Park, the world's largest nickel processing facility. Within 6 months, Rifki was dead, killed alongside 20 of his colleagues when a furnace exploded during routine maintenance in a Chinese-owned and operated smelter. Worse still, Rifki's mother, Santi, told Spotlight reporter Liam Bartlett that Tsingshan, the company operating the smelter, still refused to accept responsibility. They were searching for his body for days. Then there's a little subheading to that article, and it is the human cost of cheap, dirty nickel. Global demand for cheap Chinese-made electric vehicle batteries has brought about unprecedented demand for cheap, dirty Indonesian nickel. It's created 250,000 jobs for young Indonesians like Rifki, and for many, the average wage of $400 per month is a windfall. But union official Jay Jalani, a crane operator at Morowali, told Spotlight that companies constantly cut corners on safety to drive down costs, leading to an unacceptable number of workers being killed or left with permanent disabilities. Our workers are dying for electric vehicles, he said. Rifki's death on Christmas Eve of 2023 only made international headlines because of shocking footage which captured the magnitude of the explosion and its deadly aftermath. The explosion killed 13 workers instantly, and another 8 died in hospital of their burns, while 46 others were injured. So this is a really, truly horrific story. And that article does go into quite a lot of details. So again, it is quite confronting. But if you want to know the true human cost, okay, of driving an EV, then please, I do urge you to read that article in its entirety. And I certainly do hope that it makes everybody out there think twice before deciding to purchase an EV. Now, I did have one final article to share with everyone. Somehow, in all of my lovely paperwork, I have managed to misplace it, so I will be sure to come back to that article on the next live video update that I do next Thursday. But very quickly, before I finish off, we actually ran our last events in Melbourne over the past weekend. We had a really great group of people turn out who are really eager to learn about their rights. And that means that we have just one final standard 2.5 day live event left. That is going to be on the Gold Coast in July, and then that is it. There will be no way to actually physically come up to us, shake our hands, speak to us, share your stories with us, ask us our questions moving forwards other than through the actual boot camp event. So please, if you or anyone that you know, okay, is on, near, or can get to the Gold Coast for the 4th, 5th, and 6th of July to see us live, then I would urge you to please do whatever you can to make that happen. And again, remember, the Friday event is completely free. Anyone can attend, but you do need to book a free ticket to it. And of course, you don't need to pay the whole amount. If you do want to come to the full weekend, you can just pay that $100 deposit, and that will secure you a seat. And then you can just pay the balance at the actual event. So there should be a link going up in the comments section to those Gold Coast events. Otherwise, of course, you can find them on our seminar page. But please don't leave it to the last minute. Otherwise, you could miss out altogether. And again, there will be no more of those standard live events moving forwards. Now, the other thing to note is that the very first of our brand new webinar series is on the 4th of May, so just over 3 weeks away. Now, I will be making some short videos on each of those separate webinar topics in the coming week or so, just to give everyone a little bit more detail about exactly what we'll be covering at each webinar. But first and foremost, that Commonwealth Constitution and Constitution Commission report webinar, these are obviously the foundation of everything else that we teach people, because of course every law in the country must comply with the Commonwealth Constitution. And of course, it's those Constitution Commission reports that are the reports that were provided to the government to detail the changes that needed to be made to the Constitution so that all the laws they'd made up to that point, which of course was back in 1988, would be valid. But as we well know, None of those recommendations were adopted or implemented, and that obviously has massive, massive ramifications for every single current law in this country. So please, if you want to understand the true fundamentals of law in this country and how it affects everything else that you might possibly come up against, all explained in simple, clear, easy to understand terms that are going to open your eyes to a whole new reality of law in this country, then please do be sure to at least book in for that particular event. Again, you should find a link in the comments section. Otherwise, just go to our seminar page, scroll down, and you'll find those webinars. You can also check out that seminar page for other details about the other events that we do have for the remainder of this year. All right, so finally, I'm going to finish off with the latest testimonial from one of our members, and of course, as always, go through some of the latest memes as well. So here is a detailed testimonial from Daniel, who started off saying, the magistrate reduced the fine by 50%, which I was pleased about. They responded, well, that's great. Have you got any more detail? He said, yes, all thanks to your info. The situation I had wasn't a straightforward case. I had 5 fines that had accumulated that I had no prior knowledge of, so I wasn't able to follow the 3-step process. If I'd seen your email previously, I would have approached it differently. Regardless, I'm happy with the result, and I can't thank you enough. Your info works. So there it is, once again, in black and white, okay? If you follow the steps, even if you're too late or you miss out on following the actual 3-step process, there's plenty of other strategies. The book's like 85 pages, comes with 25 pro forma letters, everything that you need from the minute you're given a fine right through to successfully winning a case in court is covered in that book. As always, there's a link in the description to grab that if you don't already have it. All right, so some memes to get people thinking, well, this one will obviously a lot of people will be able to relate to. I mean, we're hearing all about the stock market, and we're hearing all about the tariffs, and as it says there, suddenly the people who can't pay back their student loans are all of a sudden experts on tariffs and the stock market. Funny how that happens. Now, we've been talking obviously a lot about vehicles, and we've done a big motoring update tonight. So again, this is something that we all need to be focused on. And again, we all need to be writing to our local, state and federal members of parliament about. As it says, they require your vehicle to be roadworthy, but the roads you drive on don't have to be car worthy. Clearly, our tax and fines money are not being invested back into the roads as they keep claiming they are. So where is the tax and fines money truly going? That is the important question to ask. As we've just gone through, it's nearly $1 billion just in Queensland. And I can assure you it's more than that in Victoria and more than that in New South Wales. So we're already over $3 billion now. Where is it all going? Yes, I'm going to ruffle a few feathers with this one, but hey, what the hell? Let's have some fun. So everyone's been up in arms and defacing these Tesla vehicles and apparently trying to fight back against Elon Musk by attacking Teslas. And as it says, that's the face you make when you realize that destroying a Tesla actually obligates insurance companies to replace it by buying a second one from Elon Musk. So it's a pretty pointless exercise for all those morons out there graffitiing and destroying and burning Teslas. Yes, with the election coming up, this one will probably make a lot of sense to you as well. As it says, Albanese, Bowen and Chalmers were sent by God. Why? Did he run out of locusts? Fair point. And speaking of the government, another good one. Who doesn't love a good old European vacation quote? Dad, why can't government do anything right? Well, Russ, people can't seem to figure out that both parties are really one organised group of evil, greedy bastards working for themselves and against the people. And the sooner everybody realises that, the quicker we can put an end to the madness and stop voting these muppets back in. Okay, and I'm going to leave you with one final one. It is quite detailed. This is actually a post by a gentleman, Anthony O'Flynn, that I follow. He does the Paradigm Shift events. If anyone's interested in this kind of information, I do recommend that you follow Anthony O'Flynn on Facebook and other social media platforms. But this should give hope to everybody out there. I know there's a lot of negativity in the world at the moment, a lot of uncertainty, things like that. So have a listen to what Anthony's posted here. It's red pillars have gone, people who've taken the red pill, have gone through the rite of passage to discover the reality of many uncomfortable truths. Yet many become indoctrinated with a new belief system that as evil pervades earth, it is therefore more powerful than good. This is another deeper deception that darkness is more powerful than light. The law of polarity ensures these two forces of nature are balanced and ultimately equal. By amplifying our own light, we can counter the dark and also support the shift of the collective to a more positive, elevated consciousness. The light on earth can only ever prevail when our own individual inner light is awakened. It is then that the light can triumph over the dark. Okay, so for those of you who are feeling a bit beaten down, worn out by all of this, stay true to the light, stay true to the positive. There are plenty of positives out there. There are lots and lots of things going on in the world, lots and lots of awakening occurring. So stay positive, stay focused, stick to the program, keep standing up for your rights, and we will be able to make the necessary changes, as always, if we do act together collectively. All right, so as always, I'm going to finish off there, and I do recommend that you make use of all of the various resources that are available to you to please get informed, get fired up, and get proactive. As always, these videos are completely free to watch on Facebook, but please do remember they are being deleted after just 30 days now, so we do urge you to please follow us on YouTube or our BitChute channels. Just search for Know Your Rights Group channel on either of those platforms. And if you like and subscribe and then click the notification bell, you will be told every time a new video is uploaded. Our radio shows, again, completely free to listen to every second Tuesday. That means this coming Tuesday, again, we'll be live on air with another big show between 8 and 10 p.m. Again, 2 hours, completely uncensored. We go into a lot of detail. If you've missed any of our shows over the last 10 years, you can join up as a podcast member for less than $5 a week. That's all it costs, so it's affordable to absolutely everybody. For those of you who want to go above and beyond that, we do have our one-on-one coaching sessions available. We've had quite a few people booking those in. They've got specific issues that they want additional assistance with. You'll find those on our shop page. Don't forget my success coaching clients. I'm working with a lot of those now, so I'm back on board, able to do coaching if you're looking for improvement in the areas of health and fitness and finances and relationships, all that sort of stuff. Just go to my website. Again, you'll find a link in the description. Otherwise, if you want to know more about your rights, of course, we do have our essential step-by-step manual for understanding and exercising your rights. We do have that Aussie Speeding Fines book, which I mentioned before, for successfully challenging all unjust and unlawful fines. And we do know a lot of people are genuinely struggling financially, so please stop throwing good money after bad at these unsecured loans, at your personal loans, your credit cards. They can be very easily written off, discharged with their tried, tested and proven 4-step letter process. As always, there's links in the description to get these individually. You can get them all as part of the combo pack. And we do, of course, have the tote bag as a little bonus, no extra charge to include. Don't forget, we've got the Know Your Rights caps and beanies. It's going to be another warm weekend from what I hear. So grab your caps. People see the logo, they come up, they have a chat. Great way to meet like-minded people. Of course, the best thing is to get to our live events in the Gold Coast if you can. Otherwise, our webinars, which start next month. And of course, we do have a recording of our live events as part of our home study course. There's 3 custom-made books, so you can write notes next to every slide from every single presentation. 17 DVDs that you can pause, rewind, fast forward in the comfort of your own home. It is a brilliant resource that you'll come back to again and again and again over the years. So I'm going to leave things there. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. We'll talk to you on Tuesday night on the radio show, and of course next Thursday just before Easter for another live video update. Until then, take care.